cut and dried, rite of passage,
Done and dusted.
in dire straits. Today's video is quite special because today I'm going to give you 15 quirky expressions that may sound quite unique to us ESL learners, and you may not have even heard of many of these expressions before. And you can only come across these expressions during conversations with native speakers only. Welcome to Fluency Girls. I'm Mandeep, your English coach. Let's quickly jump into the lesson. Cut and dried. Cut and dried.
It's pretty cut and dry. The only sticking point was the custody of the dog.
You use this expression to talk about something that is unchangeable and is already decided. Something that is non-debatable, like the rules of an organization or the rules of a competition or game. The rules for this competition are cut and dried. There is no use arguing.
Is it really that cut and dry? It seems that when it comes to affairs of the heart,
Too much heat. Too much heat.
We got too much heat.
So when you hear someone say that they are drawing too much heat for something, they mean that they are getting intense level of pressure, criticism or scrutiny because of something that they are doing or something that they did. If you can't handle too much heat, maybe this high stakes job isn't for you.
All right. Is there a club around here? We can go party?
not without drawing too much heat.
Oh, there's no chance these guys are waiting until they get home.
The new policy drew too much heat from the employees, so the company had to revise it. Rite of passage. Rite of passage. So notice the spellings. Do not mistake it for W-R-I-T-E, right, or R-I-G-H-T, right. So it's R-I-T-E, right. Rite of passage.
So rite of passage.
Whenever you're talking about an important event or achievement that marks a transition in your job, your work, or in your life, or you're talking about some stage of life that marks maturity, then you call it rite of passage. Let's understand it with an example first. For many young adults, graduating college is a rite of passage. That means it's an important achievement in the stage of life. When you are a teenager, learning to drive feels like a rite of passage.
If we get beaten up, maybe that's just something every man has to go through once in his life. You know, like a rite of passage or something.
So that means it marks as an achievement that you have achieved. Coloring outside the lines. Coloring outside the lines.
You said the color outside the line.
Inside the lines. You follow the rules.
Coloring outside the lines simply means that you are non-conforming, you are not going to follow any rules or any traditions, and you are going beyond that. So it simply means that you are unconventional and creative, or the task that you are doing becomes unconventional or creative. Her approach to designing is all about coloring outside the lines. That means she doesn't conform to the strict rules or conventions when it comes to designing.
Sorry, but no. You'd have to know Alan. He doesn't color outside the lines. Ever.
Someone or something keeps growing on you.
Trust me, I'll grow on you.
When you talk about someone or something that keeps growing on you, you mean to say that you have gradually started liking someone or something, like a song. Over a period of time, as the time passes, you start growing your fondness or your liking for that thing or that person. So it's important to note here that initially you might not have liked that something and you showed your dislike for that thing or that someone, and over a period of time, over passage of time, you started growing fondness or your liking for that person or that thing.
Holly, it's growing on me.
So like some songs, initially at the first instance we do not like them and they sound quite bizarre to us, but as we hear them more, we start growing some liking for those songs. So you can say that the song is growing on you.
Welcome to America, Al. It'll grow on you.
Done and dusted. Done and dusted.
Done and dusted.
When you use this phrase done and dusted, you mean to say that some task or some project has been fully accomplished or completed and there is nothing left to worry or do more about it. The implication here is that the task has been completed to satisfaction and you are completely satisfied by the way it has been done.
I thought you were doing resume follow-up.
Done and dusted. It's just a waiting game now.
Well, I'm sure you'll get a lot of great offers.
A daisy chain. A daisy chain.
Daisy chain the subjects.
When a sequence of something like the sequence of emails or some chains of events, they keep growing with more people adding into it, maybe by mutual connections, then you can call it as a daisy chain. Let's learn it with examples. There's a whole daisy chain of messages to track down the source of rumor. So that means there is a long chain where people kept on adding to something, some rumor, and it's a daisy chain. The daisy chain of emails kept growing as more and more people got involved. All squared up. All squared up.
So we squared up.
Nah, we ain't square.
When you wish to convey that you are fully prepared and you are all organized and ready for something, then you can say that you are all squared up for it. Make sure you are all squared up before the meeting starts.
Who needs keys, right? All right, well, let's get this thing squared up.
In dire straits. In dire straits. Notice the spellings of straits here.
Is in dire straits.
When you want to convey that you are in a very difficult, troubling, or maybe a dangerous situation, then you are in dire straits. You can use it to say that some person is in dire straits, or you can call some projects or something when it is in danger. You can say that that thing is in dire straits.
We're in dire economic straits, and you're spending $50 million on studying time warps.
Kick the bucket. Kick the bucket.
It's already kicked the bucket.
When you say that something has kicked the bucket finally, you mean to say that it has run the course of its usage. That means that thing is no longer functioning, working, and it has just ended. Or if you say that someone has kicked the bucket, that means that person has died. Let's take some example sentences here. He's still going strong, not ready to kick the bucket anytime soon. That means he's not going to die anytime soon. Or to talk about things, you can say, my old laptop finally kicked the bucket after years of use.
Well, don't kick the bucket yet. I need you.
I'm moved by your concern.
Crash and burn. Crash and burn.
Crash and burn, Dylan.
Sometimes things start out really well, like some projects or some relationships, and over course of time it just fails miserably and dramatically, and it becomes a spectacle for people to watch. That time you can use this phrase, crash and burn.
Why, your relationship with Penny crashed and burned.
His first stand-up routine was a total crash and burn. So that means he started quite enthusiastically, but then it failed miserably. Cut bait. Cut bait.
Cut bait on this deal.
When you talk about abandoning something, giving up something, especially because it's not working out well, or you feel like you are just wasting your time and resources on something and you just want to give it up, then you have decided to cut bait.
Archie knew to cut bait. Now I'm dragging you down. I'm dragging my dad down.
The project isn't making a progress. It's time to cut bait and move on. If it's not working out, sometimes you just have to cut bait. Smoke someone out. Smoke someone out. When you smoke someone out, you are forcing them to reveal their true intentions or their true emotions. It can also be used to talk about someone revealing their true identity when they were trying to hide it. The reporter's tough questions smoke the politician out. That means the true intentions of the politicians came out due to the reporter asking tough questions.
Let's smoke him out then.
We need to smoke out who has been leaking the information. Pulling out all the stops. Pulling out all the stops.
We're pulling out all the stops.
When you want to say that someone is making all their effort to achieve something, or they are putting exceptional efforts or using exceptional resources to do something, to achieve something, then they are pulling out all the stops.
I see you pulled out all the stops.
This time we're pulling out all the stops. It will be a truly extravagant affair.
They are pulling out all the stops for their wedding celebration. That means they are pumping up all their resources. They are putting in the best effort for their wedding celebration. Like a deer in the headlights. Like a deer in the headlights.
Looks like a deer in the headlights.
This expression can be used to describe the situations that catch you off guard, that shock you, stun you, and you were not at all expecting it. When they asked him to speak, he looked like a deer in the headlights. That means he was so shocked that he didn't know what to say.
Yes, about the fundraiser. And the poor thing looked like a deer caught in the headlights.
The new employee was like a deer in the headlights during his first meeting. That means the new employee didn't have any idea what to say, what to do in the first meeting. So that was all about today's lesson. If you really like this video, then don't forget to give a like and share it with your friends. They might like it too. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I request you to do so. It really helps. I'll see you next week with another lesson. Till then, happy learning.